So I am super stoked about these next 4. I am really proud about the journey that they're on, because these guys are firebranders. Every single one of these guys is this way. And the one thing that they're absolutely doing is they're taking radical action, because these guys are all Battleground contestants on the new show. And each one of them, I want to bring them on today and bring them on stage, and I want to let them introduce their business, tell you it's not just, here I am, this is what I do kind of thing, but this is much more of the why they do it. I mean, these guys every single one of these guys, and I'm so proud of them. I'm clicking the add button, and I'll introduce them slowly, and I'll let you guys do it too. These guys made the decision. Like, every single one of these guys said, you know what? Radical action in their business, in their worlds of what they're going to do. So we know, Marc Fitzwater, and he's I-68 Consulting out of Colorado. We got, wow, and the screen moved on me. Jim Wilkinson is out of Laramie, Wyoming. Donny Coram is out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Cory is everywhere. Cory Warfield he's kind of everywhere, but he's currently in Brazil. But he is all over the place. So I want you guys, and I'll call you off on this, and I want you guys to basically, give me the 30-second elevator pitch real quick. Who you are, what you do, why you do it, just as your intro. And then we'll start this way. We'll go clockwise, because that's civilized. Let's start with Marc. Marc, tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it, man.
Hey, what's up, Jake, Michael, everybody out there? My name is Marc Fitzwater, and I own a empowerment company called I-68 Consulting Group. And the vehicle we use to empower people in their everyday lives is through top-tiered defensive shooting training and security consultation. Myself, I am a retiring Green Beret, meaning I retired in April, and all of my cadre, everybody on my team, are active or retired Green Berets, and we are here to help you build the confidence to walk around with the ability to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Love that.
Love that. And you've got a great story I'm going to want you to tell. You know which one I'm going to go fishing for, but I'm going to want you to tell that story. All right, Cory, give us the thing, man. Who are you? What are you doing?
Thank you for your service.
And yes, by all means, we always forget that.
Yeah, I'll second that. Thank you for your service. I'm Cory Warfield. I guess I'm probably most known as a technology influencer. I've been a serial technology entrepreneur for about a decade. Helped start a couple brands that have made some impact. And what we're working on right now, and we just launched in our kind of soft closed alpha yesterday for Valentine's Day, is a technology that's infusing love in the AI experience to put true human in the loop and kind of make AI accessible for the next hundreds of millions of users that have kind of been resistant because of fear. And we have some pretty cool differentiations in the technology, and it's been a pretty amazing first 36 hours now with our product in the semi-wild. So with that, I'll pass it over. But it's nice to be here, and it's nice to see all of you.
Nice to have you.
Oh, so good, man. And Cory. Well, everybody on here is like, there's a humble factor to everybody on here of what they're doing. And I mean, the impact of what Marc is doing, what Cory's doing, what Donny is doing, what Jim is doing. Like, these guys are just amazingly humble in what they're doing. I love it. All right, Donny, tell us what's going on with Donny.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. I'm Donny Coram. I'm the foreclosure deals coach, and basically I help people to build wealth by finding, figuring, funding, fixing, and flipping a foreclosure deal. A lot of crazy stuff happening in the real estate market right now, so a lot of people want to benefit from that. And also, it's about neighborhood protection. If investors don't step in to the current foreclosure crisis in the real estate market, it can have really drastic negative impact on the overall real estate economy. So super excited to help people to build some wealth by locating these opportunities and successfully flipping those deals for a $25,000 or more profit.
Yep, super clear on the model, man. Love that. Thank you. All right, Jim Wilkinson, who's probably getting very similar weather to I am, because he's not that far from me. Here, he's over in Laramie, Wyoming. Jim, tell us what's going on with you, man. You're on mute. That's the first time I've gotten to say that today. I've been just waiting to say it.
Jim.
Ooh, we got some wicked sound going on there, Jim.
Jim, check your mic. It sounds like you just inhaled helium.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty brutal sound.
I have
Oh,
a helium
no.
balloon. Maybe I'll match you.
Yeah. Well, so let's do this. So Jim, do this real quick. And hey, welcome to technology, guys. This happens. This is all live stuff. We just roll with this. So Jim, jump off and jump right back in, and then I'll let you right back in. Sometimes it just requires a reset on the system. So it totally does.
All right.
that.
So while we're waiting, gentlemen, welcome to Total Disruption. It is awesome to have you guys, and we want to hear more about what's going on. So here on Disruption, we're always bringing some sort of way people can get a takeaway from you, right? You guys are awesome human beings. Yes, you're on Battleground. Yes, you're entrepreneurs, but this is your time to shine, right? So as Jake walks around the room here and asks you a few things, do us a favor, bring some value to echo Steve Ramona. I'm going to get a Steve Ramona tattoo. I don't know where, but I'm just going to hold it up and just point at it, right? I mean, I feel like that guy's so cool. He deserves or like a temporary sticker on my body or something. Anyway, so let's hear from your guys' perspective, right? So transform yourselves in this moment to that human being that shapes lives. Show us your power. Jake, what do you have for our friends here? Starting with whomever you want.
Yep, all good. We're adding Jim back here. Let's try this one again. Jim, try the sound again.
I turned on the automatic microphone leveling, and I think the volume was set way too high. So
it was
there we
very
go.
exciting from this end. I mean, that should go viral in of itself. I've never heard you as a chipmunk. That was pretty cool. So Jim,
I
tell
was
us
a chipmunk.
who you are, what you do.
Excellent. Well, I'm Jim Wilkinson. I'm a Vietnam era veteran and a retired Colorado Mounted Ranger. And as a Ranger, I wanted to see a duty shotgun that wasn't going to get me in the hospital or worse. And that was the selfish part of it. But more importantly, a new tool, a better tool for our service members. And it's like the head of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation said, we haven't had a new shotgun in over 100 years. And so what I've done is I've created a 12 gauge M16 that you can convert from a 12 gauge shotgun to a 308 rifle in less than 6 seconds with just these for tools. And reduced recoil because it's a close quarter combat weapon. So, anyway, that's what I do. That's what I've done. And we are going to totally disrupt the shotgun market, especially the AR platform shotgun market. And we're launching production now, and I'm excited to be here and to be collaborating with my fellow participants. And thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So from that perspective, and I love the fact, whatever your position is on firearms, it's irrelevant. Like when it comes right down to it, Jim said it, new and better tool. And we posted that there. And that's, for this particular space. And that is what everybody on here, that's a common thread. That's a common theme that you guys are all running with, new and better tool. Regardless of, and this is one of our visions with Mike and I with the show, was you can clearly see we've got 4 totally different businesses, totally different business models, but they speak a similar language. They all have a purpose that they're going to. They have where they're going, what they're doing, why they're doing it. And they all have new and better tools. I love that aspect of this. So like this is where I'm going to go fishing. This is where I'm going to go fishing a little bit. I didn't set any of you guys up for this because sometimes the organic conversations are way more fun. Like I've had the privilege of having conversations with all these guys. So I know some of the stories. I know, and the one I'm going fishing for with Mark, and we'll see if he tells this one. I want to know one of those impactful stories, one of those impactful moments that makes you do what you do. Like that is the reason you evangelize. If we go back to Melissa, why are you evangelizing what you do? Like, tell the audience the story. Why is it you do what you do? Go for it, Mark.
Let's go, Mark.
All right, Jim, real quick, I cannot wait to shoot your shotgun. So can't wait. We need to set that up pretty quickly. So just a little background. So the way that I-68 Consulting Group started, I came off the Special Forces team for my break. I'm working a staff job behind the computer. And so, what do I do? Because I, didn't know what to do with my hands. I went back to school to get my master's, and then I also started this company. I started the company because I knew I was going back to a team. So I was like, hey, this is a great way for me to, really a great way for me to keep up on my skills. So as we started teaching, and over the last 8 years, we started refining our processes and our teaching techniques with me and my instructors, we found we had really we were able to impact individuals at a high level. We are getting the text. Mark, thank you. This is the first time I have felt comfortable, still caring with my children. 70% of our clients over the last 8 years have been women, which is really surprising to me. And so our 2 clients are women, and then men that want to take their training to the next level. I have a good friend of mine, Cory. He's a great business mentor of mine. Don't worry, Jake, I'm getting there. A great business mentor of mine that's helped me, Elevation Hydration here in Colorado Springs. He's like, Mark, I thought I knew what I was doing, but now I didn't know what I didn't know. And so when I started, I said empowerment company. And that's really because of Total Disruption Mentors I've really thought about, is because this past, I had the honor of training an 84-year-old woman. She's an absolute rock star. She was a referred client. She came in and took our pistol fundamentals course, and we didn't do a separate class for her because of her age. She did the exact same thing as everybody else did. And then afterwards, if you go to our social, we posted her testimony. Afterwards, she told my wife, she goes, "This is the first time I have felt safe since my husband died." And I'm just like, this is, as you're doing this stuff, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I making an impact? When we get stories like that, and we get those stories a lot, that's when we know we're doing it right and doing it for the right reason. So that's the whole point of this whole thing for me. That's why we burned the boats when I retire in April. We bought the 160 acres that we're going to develop. Not for me, it's for the I-68 family. So that is how we are impacting our community here in the Colorado Springs area.
Love that, man. Love that. And that's, to me, the first time I heard Mark tell that story, that one that resonated with me so heavy, that because I'm a dad, right? I have 2 daughters, my wife, and all these other pieces, but that whole part of, that's the first time I've felt safe. That was a massive, massive piece for me. And that spoke to me so much about why Mark does what he does. I appreciate that. All right, Cory, you've got a lot of story. You've got a lot of length in there. And of course, this is a tough one to try and get it into a short amount of time, but why is this project so important to you?
Yeah, well, so as kind of, one of the, in my worlds and circles, one of the bigger tech influencers, and I serve on some boards and advise some companies that are, really on the bleeding edge of some technologies. I'm very much a futurist, and although I'm very optimistic in life, I just got back from Turkey fairly recently, where I delivered a keynote where I said that the current technology is not far away from ushering in near immortality, time travel, right? And a number of other things that completely disrupt the human experience. I believe that we are going to see things like exoskeletons, nanobots, and certain other technologies, and also the kind of merging of human and machine in ways in which most outcomes are catastrophic, right? And then when you start thinking about some of these human brain interfaces, and you start thinking about, every AI system that's allowed to go rogue in a laboratory environment immediately identifies humans as the threat, an existential threat to everything from the earth to technology, each other, themselves. So, I was brought a concept and basically tasked with understanding how we can infuse this kind of where the puck is going technology with love. And so that's what we were able to do, is kind of create an inference layer using, certain fine tuning techniques. I've studied neural networks on and off for a decade and built some machine learning companies. So for me, kind of understanding the current state or the solid state of large language models and large action models, and looking at how we integrate things like physics into large world models, we thought, what if we build a large love model, right? And train this on things like, teachings and disciplines of not just, white Westerners, Christians, right? But like, Hindus and Taoists and Buddhists and atheists and people from 500 years ago. And how do we truly keep humans in the loop? And I've preached for years that blockchain is probably the only solution that makes sense with where a lot of this technology is going. And then we also have quantum computing and quantum AI that's going to disrupt all of that, as soon as we allow it. So for me, getting love into the tech stack is existential. And it's the only way that I see us staying ahead of the technology. And, the love, the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. And we see that there's a couple 100 million, active adopters of AI throughout humanity, which sounds like a lot of people, hundreds of millions of people, right? That's, Facebook will claim that every user is using AI, and so will Amazon, but that's not true, right? But when you look at the numbers, you say, well, wait, out of 8 billion people, how do we get the next couple 100 million? How do we get the next legit billion people to be comfortable using AI? And so that's what we've built at Loving AI. Loving is AI, rather. And, so far we're loving the product. Our early users are seeming to love the project. We've got it in front of some of the established AI companies in certain capacities, and there seems to be an appetite for adoption. So we're just kind of heads down. We keep raising money as needed, and right now we're in good shape as far as product and team and runway. And so it's, as a serial tech founder, it's a great place to be. And the technology, I think, has massive potential. I'm also active and have been for years in the universal basic income space, and we find this as a way to kind of distribute a UBI through universal basic compute. So I'll stop there, but that is my why, is I believe that societally we have a chance to get it right. I think we're already in that we have one chance to get it right time frame, and I don't see another solution. And so, we're putting our hearts, our lives, our souls, our, everything into this with the hopes that it'll have some pretty profound outcomes.
Love that, man. Love that.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and I posted the comment, and I know Mike put it up. The opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. That is incredibly profound. Like, I love that fact. And like, from a social responsibility of what you're doing and why you're doing it, like, you're putting yourself into that space to say, we have a chance to get it right, and I have a chance to help it do it. Like, I love that heart about it. Donny, what is it? What's the reason? Like, what's the story there, man?
The story starts with flipping houses. And as so many people venture into the real estate world, it's one of those really sexy taglines. Hey, I flip houses. Everybody wants to do it. There's a lack of clarity on how to get started, and my story goes back with a lot of flips, 400 of them in my career. And then the desire to make that decision point. And I think one of the big things that I love about a room full of business coaches is all of us had to get to the point where we're at that decision point. Well, my decision point was 2019, getting into 2020, and realizing that I could take this flipping business that I'd been dabbling in for years and actually build some wealth by going hard. So woke up after a night of partying, 2019, hanging out in downtown Denver with my wife. Says, it would be cool if we flip 50 houses this year. To which she looked at me and said, you're probably still a little intoxicated. Go back to bed, right? So we took that seriously and decided it was jump with this. Let's run with it. Just went to the next level. And from that, we built this system that seemed like it was a good idea, right? We're flipping all these houses, making a bunch of money, but created all sorts of other problems in my personal life, right? Suddenly you're working 60, 80 hours a week. I don't get to see my kids very often. I realize my marriage is failing. This is all bad stuff. But from there, we adapted the foreclosure profit system to take some of the strain off of people who have made that decision to build wealth in this manner, flipping houses in this case, right? And instead of making this overwhelming thing that takes over your entire life, really looked at it from a perspective of, if this is your decision, we can get you there more fluidly, a little easier, without the pain that I created along the way. But the fact of the matter is, guys, the real estate market is in a drastic state of change. A lot of people have forgotten maybe that in 2020, 21, the Biden administration put a moratorium on foreclosures. So there's this mindset that there aren't a lot of deals in the market, because if you look at the market overall right now, you're not finding them. But one statistic suggests that 70% of the houses that should have hit the market from foreclosures are still kind of in this moratorium phase, right? And the administration prior was kind of like, we're going to kick this can down the road as long as possible. So where my program is stepping in and helping private investors is it's coming. Like, there's absolutely no doubt that the market's going to shift drastically. There's going to be a ton of opportunities in the market. The question is can you capitalize on that? My system makes it kind of simple. We find, figure, fund, fix, and flip that deal with our clients. They get to keep the profit on the back end. It is a life-changing amount of income. So for people who want to, do what Cory's doing, living overseas, or have that option to have the life freedom that real estate investors can have if their systems are properly dialed in, is really my passion about this, right? It is about money, but it's about the freedom that the money kind of creates. And the market has never been more conducive to getting in and starting to flip these potential problematic properties that are coming to market than it is right now.
Love it, man.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
not
Donny.
about the money. It's about the freedom the money creates.
Yes, absolutely.
That's it. And can you, Donny asked the official question. It's a yes or no. It's a dangerous from a coaching question, but it's still a good question. Can you capitalize?
Yes.
What do you need
And
to
the
do to
answer is
capitalize?
absolutely, if you have the right system. It's funny, it was slightly before that epiphany, or we're going to do 50 flips. I watched the founder. You ever see that? About McDonald's and how Ray Kroc took over that system. And I got all excited because I'm like, there's a system for this as there's a system for anything, right? But developing that system took about 10 years to get it down to something that was palatable, right? It's now functional where I could transfer it over. So people jumping into real estate investing, I very much relate it to flying a plane, right? If you were going to you're going to get your pilot's license, it's statistically improbable that you're just going to go find a plane, turn the key, and hope it works out. And if that is your strategy, I'm not getting that plane with you under any circumstances, right? Most people go out and get a flight instructor, right? That's a logical conclusion. But in real estate investing, especially in a crisis market, you really need guidance. You need somebody to stand next to you to make sure you make the right decisions. Perhaps most importantly, that you try to keep emotion out of the investment process. And that's much easier said than done. People get caught up on, it's a bad neighborhood, I don't like the kitchen, I'm not sure that, a lot of things go into this decision. What I help my clients to realize is it really kind of comes down to the numbers. And there are 3 numbers that matter: what you're buying it at, how much you put into it, and what you're going to sell it at, right? And if all that math kind of checks out, there's no reason not to advance. But because of all the YouTube fodder and all the other guys out there who are selling education, they're not selling impact. I'm really big on my system being about impact, right? You can get educated about how to do real estate investing by spending a very painful 8 hours on YouTube. You'll probably know as much about what I know about flipping right away. But can you take that and get action items from it? So the foreclosure profit system is really designed to not educate, but to impact. Can you do this? And the one way we make sure my clients do it, it is instead of the theory of you're going to locate a deal and here's a process to find deals and how you connect with foreclosure, all that stuff. We literally just gift wrap the deal. We go find it on their behalf, right? And then we analyze the deal to a very deep detail. Again, 3 numbers: what we're buying it at, what we're going to put into it, what we're selling it for, right? Then we provide funding to the client to get it done.
That's the key.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. And that's the key, man. I know we get excited.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a passion. I love it. I love the idea of creating freedom in this manner. Then we fix the deal with my team of contractors. We flip the deal with my discount agent. Client keeps the profit. Ideally, everything goes well. Rinse and repeat. We start over and do another one.
Love it, man. Love the passion, Donnie. All right, Jim, give me the story. Why, give me the short on why do you do what you do?
Well, my grandfather was a motorcycle cop in the 1930s in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and a canine officer in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. My brother, younger brother, was military police, retired border patrol, now contracting with U.S. Marshals. One of my cousins was an M60 machine gunner on Hueys in Vietnam, and another one of my cousins, multiple Purple Heart awardee from Vietnam, and being in the Rangers, it was formed in 1863, defunded in 1929, and so defunding police is not new, guys. Anyway, today they're the largest and only statewide law enforcement agency in Colorado not funded. And so when I was a Ranger, I was thinking about a duty shotgun that wasn't going to get me killed if I was in a gunfight, in the close quarters. And there didn't really exist anything other than 100-year-old pump shotguns. And that got me into, and I've been doing product development for over 40 years. And I started when I was like -3. But anyway, I decided to build a M16 12 gauge, and 13 years later, I'm ready to start manufacturing. And we call it the CR12, stands for Colorado Ranger 12, because if you're a police officer and you're in your car and you're reaching for your long gun, I want you to reach in your car to get your trusty friend, the Colorado Ranger, to go with you. And the whole idea is for our service members overseas and our servicemen and women here, every day on our streets, to have better tools, more tools in their toolbox that increases the probability that they get to come home to their loved ones when they're done with their job. And so that's number one, is we always need to be looking at getting new tools that are better tools. And so don't take me into a place that sells tools, because I'll spend too much money. But anyway, the other thing we do, being the CR12, and my company logo, you can't see it, there you go, is the Ranger badge. And the reason for that is honoring not just the Colorado Rangers, but everybody else that wears a badge. But a portion of our net profit goes to support the Colorado Rangers. My goal is that we don't, when I was in, we paid annual dues, we paid for all of our training, we bought all our gear, we bought all our ammunition. If we wanted to be qualified with pepper spray, we'd buy some pepper spray so we could get sprayed in the face with it to be qualified. If we wanted to be qualified with a taser, we bought a taser cartridge to get shot with the taser to fight through it. There's something mentally wrong here, but we'll skip that part.
That's reasonable.
It sounds pretty.
But it's also the drive to do the thing. So I don't want to cut anybody off. And the risk of time, we got to keep marching forward here, guys. So I love the passion from every one of you.
Yeah. If the passion is there, the facts don't count. So
there you go.
There you go. There's a lot of truth in that, Jim. So Mark, thank you. Cory, thank you. Donnie, thank you. Jim, thank you. You guys can find all these guys on our website, total-disruption.com. That's a shortcut to them, or long cut, either way that you want to do it. But reach out to them. If any one of these guys has got something that is of interest, said something to you that struck you today, reach out to them, connect with them. talk more about them, of where they are and where you can collaborate more with these guys. So again, on behalf of all of us, super stoked to have you guys along this longer journey with us. You guys are going to see a lot more from Jim and Donny and Cory and Marc as we come up in the new Battleground season. So guys, thank you so much for your time.